Hey guys, welcome to Cold Film Review, the podcast where we discuss the films you love, but no one else gets, and we see if they still hold up. Tonight, we're going to take most of the cast of Aliens and see what it's like if they were vampires. Because we're talking about Near Dark. So stay out of the sun, and let's just start the show.
Your Hollywood system stole our sex and co-opted our violence, so there's nothing left for our kinds of movies.
I did not hit her. It's not true.
Klopex? Klopex. Klopex.
Up yours, baby.
Me and Bubba, my little brother, listen to you every night.
Where in the hell are we?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us once again. We really appreciate it. Please leave us a review on iTunes and some comments on iTunes. We really appreciate it. We did get one this week.
Ooh. Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They didn't write anything, but they gave us a review.
Hey,
they gave us stars
works.
review.
That works.
So thank you, Anonymous. You're awesome.
How
Shout
many
out to
stars
Anonymous.
was it?
5.
God,
Wow.
just knocking it out of the park.
You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on there and leave a 1. I want to bring her. I want to bring
I
our
kinda
average
want-
down.
You want to see the world burn?
I'm ready for our first bad review.
Oh, I'm not. So don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, don't do that.
All right, guys. So tonight we're talking about Near Dark. It was directed by Catherine Bigelow. Came out in 1987. Had a budget of $5 million. Made $3.5 million. Was filmed in the U.S. It is rated R and currently has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, guys, if you don't know what this movie is about, a small town farmer's son reluctantly joins a traveling group of vampires after he is turned by a beautiful drifter.
Aw,
Yeah.
like a love story.
You know what, Kyle? I'm glad you brought
yeah,
that up.
I thought it might come up.
I'm glad you brought that up because it hasn't been brought up in a while. You know what this movie's about, really, Mike?
Old love?
No. It's about young
I
love.
think that was brought up last episode, actually.
It actually
It
was.
And the bad seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought up young love?
Yeah,
Sure did.
It's making a real comeback.
Man, look at that. I
People
don't
are
even know
talking.
anymore. People are talking about the young love. If you're wondering who I'm joined by, as always, I am joined by Kyle Smith,
Hey, how's it going?
Chris Willenbrecht,
What's up?
and Michael Salustio.
Hello.
All right, guys. This is my pick.
What, Cody? Why did you pick this movie?
Thank you for asking. I wanted to do a Bill Paxton movie. Bill Paxton recently passed, and I hadn't seen this one in years, but it's always one that stuck with me. So I wanted to talk about this one because it's like, what am I going to Aliens, Twister,
Yeah, you could have picked any of those, really.
you know?
Actually,
I like how your choices were Aliens and Twister.
Frailty.
Titanic. I wanted to do Frailty.
That's
They
not
actually,
a cool film.
that's his argument. I love that movie. It's actually, they just put it on Netflix.
It's a fantastic movie.
If you haven't
is.
seen it,
Very
go
good
check
film.
that movie out. It's a great
Yeah.
movie.
I would have said Near Dark, Aliens, Brain Dead would
Yeah.
be a good one. But I liked this. I'm happy you picked this movie because as I was watching it, it clicked in my head, like, you know, how many times have I seen Bill Paxton as the bad guy? He's usually the asshole in the film, but not like straight up villain. And I think he does a fantastic job as a villain.
No, he does. He does a really good job. Now, let me ask this question as always. Has anyone not seen this film?
I hadn't seen this film before.
This is your first time seeing this movie?
Yeah.
Had you have heard about it before? Or
Yeah, I had
anything
heard
like
about it. I just not.
Because I can't remember how I came across this movie. I can't. I've seen it, and I remember it was in high school that I was like, it was when I got into like horror films, but I cannot remember for the life of me who introduced it. Or
I know why I seeked the film out originally because it was when I was in high school. But like full disclosure, probably my favorite movie in my entire life is Aliens, and Bill Paxton's character Hudson I loved. So after seeing that movie, then start you know it's in the early days when you start learning about film and you start learning actors' names.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that this came up. It was like, well, here's him in a vampire movie, and I think it's one of the companies released like some collector's edition DVD thing, and I was like just stoked on it. I was like, yes, I need to have this. I need to watch this. So that's when I discovered it, and I wasn't disappointed.
For me, it was I caught bits and pieces of it on TV as a kid, you know, like on cable and stuff. And I always do remember the lighting style of this film, like how they use a lot of spotlight and stuff like that. And you know the shot where they're coming up over the hill right before
Yeah.
they go to the barn, and the light is just blasting from behind them. That imagery, like for some reason, it was always something that stuck with me. So when I got old enough to actually rent horror movies, I was like, this is that movie that I remember as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I was stoked to see it when I got to.
For me, it was like what movie we're going to pick this week. And you were like, Near Dark. And I was like, I hadn't seen that one before. And then I put it in my DVR because Kyle owned a copy. And I was like, oh, Near Dark.
Why'd you put my DVD in a DVR?
Yeah, how'd that work?
Huh?
I said, why'd you put my DVD in a DVR?
That's not how they work?
Wait, do I own a DVD copy anymore?
I was just jamming it.
I was wondering why I
play.
didn't see anything.
Yeah. And then
I figured it was called Near Dark. The whole point of
Yeah.
it was just black.
And then I heard a
Black screen.
then I heard a crack, and there were like pieces of stuff, like shiny, shimmery stuff all
Honestly,
over the
I was
place.
about to give this a 4 for artistic merit, but
I was like, this is brilliant. There's,
Yeah.
I mean, they show nothing and no
I
one
mean,
talks.
a real art house piece.
Like a real
art
novelty.
house piece.
It's about 4 hours long, and just when you think it's about to get boring, picks up.
They do some really interesting things with lighting.
It's just like you're
a
hallucinating.
lot of,
at
lot
that
of
point.
deep blacks in this film.
I
Which
got-
is true, actually.
There is a lot of deep blacks in this movie. That is true.
Well, it mostly happens at night, so. Vampires.
That's crazy that you hadn't seen this before.
Are you a Bill Paxton fan?
Are you a Bill Paxton fan?
I like Bill Paxton.
I'm under the impression you hate Bill Paxton.
No. Kyle is saying this because I wrote an article one time where I blasted Hudson as being a shitty version, like not a great
No, I'm saying
example of a good military.
I'm saying it
character.
because I suggested we do a month of Paxton, and you said fuck Bill Paxton.
That's not something. Probably cut that out.
I'm just kidding. He did not say that at all.
That's horrible.
All
No,
right,
I
well,
didn't say that.
With that being said, let's take a break. And when we come right back, we'll talk more about Near Dark.
What you people want? Just a couple more minutes of your time, about the same duration as the rest of your life.
You know what? This time I had since I nailed your mama in the back of your daddy's truck.
And we're back. We're talking about Near Dark. It is my pick. Glad I could pick this movie.
Thanks for doing this for us.
Glad you could help us with that one.
Making our week a little brighter.
So I may get in some hot water for this
Okay.
comment. So let's see where that goes.
Is it fuck Bill Paxton?
It's not fuck Bill Paxton. I'm not. Listen, I'm not Mike.
God damn it! I never said fuck Bill Paxton.
I like Bill Paxton. I was willing to give Bill Paxton his whole month. I was gonna give him a whole month of episodes, but Mike said fuck Bill Paxton.
Oh shit.
Just doubling down.
Oh yeah.
So here's one of the things I wanted to talk about, which I think is really interesting about this film. You don't see vampire westerns,
No.
like, at all, and for someone to blend the two genres together, I thought was a very like fun and smart idea.
Definitely. Yeah. And have we even seen it since?
Not that I.
What's that?
Like a vampire western? Can you think of one?
I guess
can't
From
think of
Dusk Till
one.
Dawn has kind of got
Yeah.
a Western
Yeah, it
vibe.
totally does.
like-
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? Full disclosure, I'm going to say this right now, and I'll probably get slack for it. Not the biggest fan of vampire movies. Really am. I'm
have a hard
not.
time with them.
I just, the lore of it, like it doesn't interest me a whole lot.
Is there a particular one you don't like? I mean, they've been used a lot.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
different ways.
how about I name the ones I do like?
Okay,
Go for
go
it.
for it.
Near Dark, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
That's all I can think of right now.
30
I was
Days
gonna
of
say
Night.
Lost Boys is
30
not in
Days
this.
of Night, Lost Boys. Thank you, Lost Boys.
Yeah. Okay.
30 Days a Night, but I don't feel like that was straight vampire. That was like a different twist. Like they were more ferocious.
I mean, they were
guess.
still vampires, though.
They're still vampires.
How long's it been since you saw Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I don't know, like a year or two.
Oh, really?
It's a good movie.
It's a solid movie.
I tried to watch it again. Maybe
No.
we'll get into that in
Does-
another episode.
When we do Bram Stoker's Dracula on Cold Film and
Does
Review.
it hold up?
Halloween's right around the corner.
Hey, how many Coppola films can we do on Cold Film and Review?
I mean, for as far as like vampire movies, though, for you, because especially you're also like a Western fan, Kyle.
Yes.
Where does this one rank for you?
Oh, in terms of them, I mean, I don't know. I either put like this or Lost Boys towards the top of my vampire films. I like this one because It forgoes the ability to fly. You don't have that.
Yeah.
Like these are basically. I mean, you could put whatever label you want. Doesn't even need to be vampire. They're basically just immortal assholes that can't die.
Yeah.
So they basically, it's what happens if you gave somebody the ability to live forever. What would they do? Like, well, I mean,
Never take a shower.
They took, yeah, exactly. Never take a shower. They took the route of just being like, ferocious, like really evil people. And like in terms of like vampire, I don't even think we see fangs in this movie.
No.
Yeah, there's no fangs. These are basically immortal people who happen to only have the taste for blood. So that's I think what I like
I don't
about
know,
it. It
was
kind of
there-
breaks that mold.
Was there a Fang moment
No.
in the bar? In the bar when he's walking, or when he's got blood coming out of his mouth? I thought I saw fangs in him.
I didn't see
There's a
any
lot of blood
fangs
there.
in this.
Okay, could just been the way they
Yeah.
lit it or
I
something.
don't recall fangs. In
That
this
I was
film, but-
I was gonna agree with you too. That's one thing I really enjoy about this movie, especially like, this is one of those ones I always like harken back to when Twilight movies came out. They're like, oh my god, Twilight. Oh, I was like, go watch a fucking like Near Dark
Yeah.
or something like that, where you get like a gritty,
Yeah.
not sparkly in the fucking sunshine,
Mhm.
Get a punk
burst
It
of
definitely-
flame flames vampire.
Yeah, it definitely has like a spaghetti western vibe though, which is what I appreciate
But
about this film.
But it also takes like, it doesn't take like, I think it takes some of the like rules of vampires, like the
Sunlight.
attraction, sunlight, stuff like that. Because why else would fucking Caleb be like so into that girl?
New girl in town, small town.
You think she
Jesus
hypnotized
Christ.
him with her vampire
I
eyes?
do, because I mean, my God, like I said after watching it, was like, I don't care. Like, I wouldn't fucking fuse her blood and change her back. Like, I'm sorry, but I do not want to be with a girl that for the last 4 years has just been straight up murdering people,
Yeah.
and then expect her to snap out of it.
I agree. I agree with you on the whole lore thing of the attraction thing, because you see
Jesse, Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, you see Jesse pull that move at the bar on the waitress. Yep. You see Severin, which is Bill Paxton's character, pull that move on the two girls in the pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Homer's the only one that sucks at it.
Yeah, because he's a child.
At that Coke machine, he really had all the moves.
wait,
So
I have
go
a
watch
question.
TV.
So is Homer a child?
No,
He's older. Is he the oldest one?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, he is.
No,
I
he's
think
not.
he is. Why does Lance Henriksen call him old man?
I think he's the oldest one, but he is in the youngest body.
Yeah, that's what I thought
Yeah,
too.
because you stay in whatever form you are when you turn.
Right.
So he was turned when he was a kid, but I didn't catch that he was the oldest one of the group. I always thought Lance Hendrickson
No.
character was.
no, Lance Henriksen just always looks like the oldest one.
Yeah.
He really takes the reins though, because he does look the oldest, and he seems to have the most strength.
He seems the most knowledgeable too.
Yeah.
Of the group, he's definitely the clear leader.
I would. Yeah, obviously. That's
Yeah.
why I was so weirded out by maybe the concept of that kid being actually the oldest one.
And he's he's trying to get with like a young girl at the
It-
Coke
it re-
machine.
I mean, it really raised the creep factor for me.
It did. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I thought about it immediately. I was like, that dude's old.
I mean, technically, shit. How do you? I don't know. You can't really say like. I feel like you can't really say like, oh, how old are you? Because, I mean, technically, once he turned, he stopped aging. So
No,
he has a lifetime of experience in his head, which would be equivalent to the oldest person in the group. But
right.
he's still a kid.
he's still stuck
Physically,
in yeah.
mentally, no, and
Yeah.
that's the gross. That's
Yeah.
the gross part.
I'll
but
agree with
also,
that.
but also, where I think what they wanted for that character, and I'm just speaking for that, was like, and the idea behind the sister was because if you think you're gonna live forever, eventually, if he turned her, she would not have the mentality of a child. She would have the same
Yeah,
mentality
he'd have to
that
wait.
he does.
He would have to wait. Well, I
But-
don't know.
well,
Yeah.
when you're
I guess
va-
it's only like 20 years. Blink
Yeah.
an eye in a vampire. I don't know. They live for some
I don't
years.
know.
20 years, not that long.
No,
I don't know.
I feel like he was around. I mean, if Lance Henriksen was around during like what the Civil
Civil
During the
War,
Civil War.
then Homer must have been around long before
well,
that.
his name is Homer. It like
Yeah, that's what
Shut
I
up!
thought.
You think the Odyssey?
no, I mean like it is a very like old name. It's not
Yeah.
a name that people use anymore.
Right.
Really. Like
No,
so, it
thank you,
led me to
Simpsons.
believe that he might have. Yeah, right. Yeah.
They ruined that name.
Way to fucking go.
Way to go. I wanted to name
Way to
my-
ruin things, Simpsons.
I wanted to name my kid Homer so bad, but then The Simpsons ruined it.
Bring it back. Now you can't.
You had a kid before The Simpsons?
No.
Were you even born before The Simpsons?
Yeah, I was.
When did The Simpsons go? 92? 89.
89,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. I know. Here's a question I have for you guys too. Is this a cult film? And if so, is it a cult film because of its cast?
I think it.
Or do you think it can be, or mostly because of its cast? I should say.
I think it is a cult film, and I don't really necessarily know if it's completely to do with the cast. I think the cast helps because it's definitely got a solid group of cult film, icons in it. But I think it has more to do with like the uniqueness of the story, the unique blend of the genres that the director did in this one, and it's really. At least for me, it really feels like kind of a unique film. All right, you're just gonna counter with an
Yeah, no, I think she read Interview with a Vampire before she made this film. There's a lot of themes and a lot of weird stuff that's like right out of that book, which then becomes that movie. Kid. The idea of the first time I'd ever thought of the idea of like, oh, that's right. If you turned a kid, it would just be a vampire kid for the rest of their life, and they'd have to struggle with that all the time. That was the first time I ever saw that was in Interview with a Vampire.
So you're saying this is not a cult film?
No. I'm saying you said it was unique.
In my own personal opinion, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
I didn't make a
general.
blanket statement saying that this is the most unique film on earth.
Oh, I love
No, I didn't say that. I didn't
love
say
it
that.
when they fight. I love it when they fight.
I'm not saying that you were saying it was the most unique thing on earth. I just think she stole a lot of that book. I think she read that book.
Oh, really? I think it is a cult film, and I think it's because of the blend of Western and horror, something we hadn't seen before. It was kind of like the vampires were kind of interesting, grungy, unique, like for that time period. And like it was pretty violent, and the effects were pretty decent. And you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of explosions actually in this movie.
A little too many.
I'm like, what the hell? A lot of fire, a lot of shit going on like that. So it was ambitious, I think, too. And I love the fact that it is a female director. I was actually surprised to find that out. I think
She's a fantastic filmmaker. Like she
Yeah.
is a really good filmmaker.
I love that this is like her first thing that she ever did, because she went on to do some great, like some big, like Academy Award winning shit, right?
Yeah, she
like
Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker, yeah. And I'm just like, God damn, dude! Like from humble beginnings, I guess. Like this is like, it's really good for like what feels still like an independent horror film.
Now, where I say that, like, where I agree with you, this is like a good film, and in that aspect too, Mike. The reason I do think it's a cult film. I think a lot of it though does rely on the cast, and the reason I say that is because I think if you put other actors into this movie, it's not good.
You end up with a Sci-Fi Pictures original.
It's not good.
I never said it wasn't a cult film.
Yeah,
I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Yeah, you never.
Now I'm
you
gonna
never
say,
did answer
now,
it.
Now I'm going to say it's not a cult film.
I
don't
want to
think it's a
be the
cult
one
film.
to say it.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I guess you could say the cast, but like,
I think the cast is.
but the cast is not known for doing cult films.
Lance Henderson? Are you kidding me?
He's fucking Bishop. And Aliens is not a cult film.
Pumpkinhead.
Okay, Pumpkinhead.
And
or as I like to pronounce it, Pumpkinhead.
fucking any fucking Bigfoot movie that Lance Henderson has done in the last 15 years.
Harry and the Hendricksons.
Like he's done so many Bigfoot movies. It's crazy.
Has he really?
Yeah.
He's done a lot of Bigfoot movies?
Yes. Like go through his.
Fuck if I know.
Go through his.
Are we talking
IMDb.
like B movie? Like,
oh yeah.
Oh okay. So
I've seen a lot of them.
Well, I mean, other than that, I don't know. Who else in this film? Like
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton has done a lot of big time films. He's always been a great character actor. People love him. I don't know that he's like has a storied cult film career though. I disagree.
He was
with
in
that.
The Omen 2.
Maybe I'm not giving Bill Paxton enough credit. I just always saw him as like a bigger name actor, like a bigger name character actor.
I think he is a bigger name actor
He's
too.
a bigger name character actor, but he's not a. I don't feel like he's a big name. Not until the later part of his career with like Big Love and shit. That really kind of
I don't know.
took
Apollo
off.
I think
Apollo
Big
13 is
Love.
pretty serious.
Yeah, that's true.
There's to me like this movie is kind of like a lull throughout, and there's like little spikes of high points, but not like there's really nothing that's like crazy jump off the screen to me.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too.
except for Bill Paxton's performances. Like,
Yes.
honestly, like
Yeah.
I feel like he is like the adrenaline shot in this movie to be like, okay, they might be getting bored here. Bill Paxton monologue.
I want to say that that's what his character is. He's like a literal adrenaline shot.
Yeah.
Like that's what he said. He looked at one and said, "I want to be that in this
when you
film."
compare him to the rest of the group, yeah, he's the most like he's the most energetic, most ridiculous, most sociopathic of the group, and he
for sure.
really enjoys the fact that he can kill whoever the fuck he wants to. Like the other people, they're definitely evil.
Into it. Yeah, and they're
but
into it.
He's like he's making a game of it.
Yeah. I think the kid might be the second most energetic one out of the group.
Yeah.
But Lance Henriksen's performance, I think,
It's solid.
I think Bill Paxton, yeah, he stands out because he's the loud one. But I think Lance Henriksen,
He's
did
definitely
a
the most
fucking
ominous one.
But I'm saying like they
Great
almost
job.
like Bill Paxton is almost used in this movie as a way to bring it up when it seems like, okay, this movie's dragging on a little bit, and then
Yeah.
boom, there's a Bill Paxton scene where it picks up again.
I'd agree with that.
And I feel like that was done on purpose, honestly. And like I don't think that, and not just saying Bill Paxton, I'm saying the other characters too, like the like Homer and Jesse, Lance Henderson's character. You put other actors in these roles, you're not getting this performance, and this movie's not as good. Like this is just my opinion.
I agree.
But no, it's
Bill Paxton was also in Navy SEAls.
He keeps going with it.
hell yes.
He keeps going with
That
it.
movie's so good. But I just
Oh shit!
like I don't think like the story or maybe the flow of the story is quite as coherent or as good as it
As it could be. Okay,
Yes,
you're bringing up a really good point that I was hoping to touch on. This movie left me wanting. I enjoyed some of the stuff that I saw in the film, and like the character arcs and like the way the story progressed. But I also felt like I didn't fully get as much as I really think the director could have gone on it. There are a lot of lull parts, which I mean, I don't know if they necessarily serve the story in any way, but I feel like they could have ramped up the intensity of the film in a lot more scenes.
Like, I don't like the way that Caleb's character is necessarily written that much either.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's the actor's fault. It's more or less the way the character's written and how he's not helpless, but he acts like, especially the first half of the film,
Yeah, he's
which
really
I love
weak.
how fast he turns. Number one, that's great. I was like, how quick they get into the vampirism. It's not like, 48 hours he turns into a vampire. That shit was like 15 fucking minutes.
Yeah. It was like a long stroll.
Yeah, for real. But like once he gets thrown into the RV, he's kind of like a boring character. Like he's like, and he progresses as it goes on, like where he stands. But even still, it's kind of shaky.
Do you feel like that's mostly because he was thrown in a van with way more dynamic characters? So then, like, in comparison, he just...
No, I think what it is I think the love, like she tried to focus more on the love story, and the love story is probably the weakest part of this story.
There's almost no connection.
There's no
between those two characters.
No, it's I saw you out on the street and I wanted to
get it in.
Eat your
like,
ice cream.
Like force eat your exactly.
That's actually from the movie, so it can't be taken as dirty.
Yeah, I want to eat your ice cream, and he's kind of an asshole too at that point, and then he turns into not an asshole.
He more or less kind of deserved that bite.
Yeah.
Like, take me home. Oh, hold on a second. Let me turn off the truck and drop the keys down my shirt.
What a
Kiss
dick
me
move.
first, and then I'll take you home. But like, no.
What's going through his mental thought
He
process
sees
there?
the sun coming up, and his
But
opportunity for sex is
let's
gone.
imagine this. You go out, you meet a girl out, and you're driving with her, and all of a sudden she has a fucking panic attack. It's like freaking out in your car. At what point are you just like, I think I can turn this around to sex still?
Yeah, not
I
at
think
all.
if I can
when
shrewdly turn this back to my house.
When you live on the farm, dude, and you're only hitting the bar, once a week, and you're just working all day, like
Such a
I think your social dynamic is a little different.
It's just such a weird dick move.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's a little like Bill Paxton's also in the movie Mighty Joe Young.
Different.
Wait, like the remake though.
Yeah, not,
98.
obviously not the original.
Maybe
yeah.
it was a baby.
Baby Bill.
Baby Bill Paxton was in
I
that
was gonna
film.
keep dropping Bill Paxton films this entire episode.
Don't do that because it's throwing me off so bad.
Because now you think about his Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about his Mighty Joe Young and his solid performance in that too. I just think that the love story is so weak, which is a big focus, I would say, of the first half of the film until his sister, till Caleb's sister comes into the movie, like meeting the group of vampires. That love story is pretty weak, and it's like I don't even enjoy it that much because it's like he's very spineless until his family comes around, and then I feel he's a little more redeemable. And I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. I feel like that's what she wanted to be portrayed.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I don't know.
I wasn't a fan of it.
I wish there was a little more of because if I was in that van, I'd be speaking my fucking like, what the fuck are you? What the fuck's going on? Where the fuck are we going? Why can't we go out in the fucking sun? What is happening? This dude's like, I'm sick. And then he gets a little blood and then he's like, let's skip off to nowhere.
Yeah.
At night.
And then questions it like an hour later, like, what are we doing? Huh?
Yeah.
It's just very confusing.
I have a question. So you only turn if you get bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rest of the time they're just cutting people's throats and drinking the blood. They're not actually biting anyone. Because I was like, why isn't there
they're
more
killing them.
vampires?
Yeah, as I understood in the lore of this film,
If you take too much of their blood,
if you kill
They die.
them, you can't turn them into
Yeah.
a vampire. And I also got the impression that they weren't like. I didn't get an undead feel to these ones.
well,
They were invincible.
No, there is an undead.
Where?
It comes in at the end when what's her name? Is it May?
Yeah.
May is out on the swing, and she runs up to Caleb after he has the transfusion, which is another part I like in this movie too.
Right.
After he has the transfusion, and she comes up to him and she's like, "You're warm."
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I
She
just-
does. She does make
I-
that point. So
Yeah, okay, so I guess they are undead.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna disagree on that whole transfusion thing.
Yeah.
I don't. I thought that was
It's a little hokey.
What a lucky shot in the dark that was. Like, oh, if I drink the blood, I'm vampire. But if somebody gives me a blood transfusion, I'm not a vampire. Where did the vampiric blood or disease go? Like, because you can give a blood
your old
transfusion,
blood?
it's not like the new blood's coming in, the old blood's like going out your asshole.
We
It's not-
didn't know that in 1987.
I would imagine if let's say we're calling vampirism some sort of biological thing, to change you on such an almost genetic level, I would imagine you can't just whip the blood out and just be like, I'm good again.
Yeah, that was the one thing I thought was like it was hokey and it was kind of like it kind of threw me
It's
like
a little
ugh.
hokey, but it's the only way you're getting your happy ending out of this film. They had to find a way to give you your
They
happy
could-
ending.
I think they could have easily still done a redeeming
Caleb-
happy ending with him being a vampire. It would also make more sense him going toe to toe with vampires with vampiric blood
but it
and
also,
strength.
yeah, but see, then you're not as scared for him or afraid for him. Then it gives him another. Again, it brings him back to a weakness to where you can kind of relate to him. I think his character's all over the place.
Hey,
Like,
they did it in
as
Lost
far as
Boys.
as far as his emotional level as being helpless and then not being helpless is all over the fucking road in this movie. He's we'll get into this. He's probably my least favorite character in this film.
I agree with you 100%.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say your favorite is?
Bill Paxton's character.
Probably Bill Paxton's
Yeah,
character.
he's just so he's the best one in the. I mean, wait, are you gonna say
He's
Lance Anderson, Chris?
he's like if Hudson was a vampire. He's got
Yeah.
that same energy.
He is definitely the most entertaining to watch. I will say that. But for some reason, Lance Henriksen's character just looks so lurking and he did there were scenes where he'd sit in a chair and look like a vampire, just huddled down, looking out the top of his eyes. His performance, I think, was subtle but very captivating. But Bill Paxton is the most fun character in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely agree with that, but I'm kind of on board with Chris on this one. I think the real powerhouse in this is and he shows his that he is a veteran actor is Lance Henriksen, like the subtleties.
Literally a Confederate veteran actor.
His
Like sometimes with Bill Paxton, I love him to death, but they gave him all the one-liners that were super like big and clown-like and like catch you later, and
No,
it's
but
just
like there's some fucking funny ones when he's like finger licking good.
Exactly.
Like I laugh
That's
my
what I'm
ass
saying.
off.
Oh, I hate when they ain't shaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He gets all the best lines.
But Lance Henriksen has the most powerful like one-liners.
Yeah, he does. Like, let's just say I fought the South, or I fought for the South and we lost. Like, that is a real powerful, because that answers the question and sparks the imagination in one fucking line.
Well, and just the way, like Chris said, like he gets a lot of the details are in the subtleties, right? And that's what you get with him in this movie. And it's probably one of his one of his best performances in a movie, honestly.
I even loved his makeup, like the scar on his face.
Yeah.
Looked awesome. It looked real, and like it just kind of warped him in a way that was like character-esque.
And that fucking rat tail.
Oh,
sick. Sick.
That Dog the Bounty Hunter hairstyle.
It's awesome. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about Near Dark.
Beautiful morning coming up here. Looks like another sunny day also. And folks, if you're...
I'd like to introduce you all. Sarah.
Well, you people should stay up late.
We keep odd hours.
Who ordered pizza?
Homer, sweet darling.
I'll tell you what, I'll play you for the pizza.
Homer, you look at me when I'm talking to you now.
All right, guys, we're back. We're talking about Near Dark. One of the questions I want to ask you guys, too, is what is your favorite scene? I think we're all going to have the same answer, but I just want to see. Let's start with Kyle.
Oh, man. I hadn't really given that much thought.
Chris?
Probably the bar. Probably going to be the bar scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bar scene's excellent. Also, the scene where he gets reunited with his family in the hotel room.
That would be my second favorite.
And then the cop shootout scene.
Yeah. What do you like about the cop shootout scene?
Dude, I love the fact that he's like, this is the moment where he's like proving himself to his fellow vampires. And he runs out and sets himself on fire to get the van and crashes through. But it is kind of a weird scene, like the whole setup of it. It's like he crashed through one side. None of the cops noticed that like a van was driven halfway through a building, and then they drive out of it.
The one cop did, who was shooting the hell out of him with a sniper
Sniper Joe.
Sniper Joe.
That was a weird scene. That was weird.
I really liked that shootout scene for a different reason. The lighting was fucking beautiful with all the bullet holes in the building, and like you just have these spotlight rays of light in the room, and they're all kind of trying to dodge them and stay away from them. I thought that was really cool.
It is weird though, in the fact that like I don't know if it was necessarily to prove himself to the vampires or to survive another day.
I think he was trying to prove himself.
Because he's still not going to kill.
But that was the way that he gained the
That's what I'm
acceptance
saying.
that he needed.
The acceptance to live another day. Not to
didn't-
be part of the group.
I don't know. I think he was
Because they
kinda-
still wanted him to kill after that.
I don't know.
And maybe he would have. I mean, if it had gone differently, but his family
agree.
showed up and threw a whole wrench in the
agree.
operation.
I agree with Cody. I think he just did it as to get himself a little more time, and it was kind of. I don't think he, because you definitely don't get the vibe that he's going to be able to continue on the way he has been by not killing. They're not going to allow that. But since he saved their life, they're going to be cool with him. Maybe for the next day, maybe for the next couple of days. But eventually, he's still going to have to kill or be killed.
What do you think this guy's end game was? You think he was like?
I don't think he had one.
You don't think so? You don't think at some point he was thinking like, oh, I can get this girl away from her family, vampire family, and then we can run off together. And then I can finally have sex with her. Because it never happens.
I don't know. I think he was trying to join up a little bit with them for a bit. He thought, this is my life and I need to get used to it, and I'm now accepted and I can move forward with this. But then I think sister and dad showed up and he was like, wait, no, this is my family, and then had another turning moment there.
Yeah.
I don't think he. I don't know if I ever got the vibe though from Caleb that he was accepting the fact that he's going to just be with this group forever. I still think he was going to take the first out he could get.
Yeah, it just hadn't produced itself.
Yeah,
because
presented itself.
Yeah, he still was that too. Because he still needed them to get out of the shootout with the cops. He still needed them for that.
Yeah.
So
there's an essence of self-preservation for sure.
Definitely.
For himself, because he's obviously.
That's why I'm so conflicted with this character and just I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel like he owns enough of one side or the other for you to really get behind a lot of the decisions and moves he makes. I mean, the only thing that you can definitely say about him is he's protective of his family.
Yeah. And he wants to be a normal boy. He wants to be a real boy.
Yeah. None of this Pinocchio wooden body shit.
Yeah, none of this vampire bullshit.
How old do you think he was?
In this movie?
Yeah.
I'd say,
what's his character supposed to be?
I'd say early 20s.
Yeah, I thought it was 20s.
Mike,
well, he's going to a bar, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mike, did you have a favorite scene? I feel like you didn't answer that question.
I think, I don't know why I like the scene so much. Maybe because it's a little understated, but for some reason, maybe it's because I felt for the little girl walking into that room, but it's when the little kid vampire brings a little girl into the room for the first time and they're playing poker over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, she has this little, this look on her face, I think you ever do that when you were a kid? I mean, I guess the thought of being a child and some other kid being like, hey, do you want to go watch a movie? And then you're like, yeah, let's go to your house. And then you go in there and then the moment you look around, you're like,
this was a mistake.
I've never been in this atmosphere, but I know goddamn well that this is not a good place for me to be. Yeah. And I got that sense from a little bit, kind of why are you guys up so late? We keep odd hours.
Yeah.
Who ordered pizza? There's all these lines.
He's like the Michelangelo
Yeah.
of the, these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
The artist?
Vampires. No, it's a weird scene for me. I like it. I don't know why. There's a lot of tension in that scene.
There is.
I feel like that scene probably has the most tension out throughout the film.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Because you as an audience, know that's his sister.
Yeah.
But he hasn't shown up yet, so he doesn't know. The character doesn't know. Caleb doesn't know that his sister's actually in the room, and you're like, oh, shit.
I wish there was a little more tension there, honestly, and they would have explored that a little bit longer. It's a little quick for me. That's the only complaint I have about it, was just boom, 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 and it's done. If it was a little more drawn out to where it was a little more torturous from the vampire family, and then they got away, I would probably be the best scene in the movie. But
yeah, it would probably also explain the timeline.
Yeah.
The dad walks in the room, they have a 5-minute back and forth, and then it's bright ass fucking high noon. Fucking high noon out there.
Actually, that confused me at first because it was blue light blasting in. I was like,
that was weird.
What time of day is it?
That was weird. They said it was 5 a.m. No, they said it was 5 a.m.
What did they say? What are you doing up at 5 a.m.?
They say it they say it about the girl. I think right when Caleb shows up, they go, that's my sister. What the hell is she doing up at 5 a.m. in the morning?
Right.
I wonder if that's something that we're just how do we explain the sun comes up in 15 seconds? Yeah. Let's just say it's 5 a.m.
Bill Paxton's like, I got this.
And the one thing too is I also that I thought cool was going back to just a little bit of vampire lore with this was their healing factor.
Yeah.
Where it would look like you that's they weren't just dirty, Chris. Well, see, when you heal, you get dirty.
Yeah, a lot of dried blood, a lot of scabbing.
Anytime they got hurt and that came back, it would be a dirt streak or a black
burn
ash
mark looking thing. Yeah,
I like that too.
Another scene I really enjoyed, actually, that just popped in my head was when May is trying to get Caleb to do his first kill when he's in the truck with the black dude.
Yeah.
And
the truck driver?
Yeah, the truck driver, and that tension of her nudging him, do it, and then it's building and that guy's talking and you're like, oh, I don't want him to die. He's so fun and nice, and but you can just see it coming in Caleb's eyes. And by the way, I would have stopped that truck a long time ago. I wouldn't have driven that long if some dude was breathing and drooling in my lap.
I have a question. Do you guys were they insinuating that the truck driver was on speed?
No.
Doesn't he seem like
yeah,
that's what the character choice maybe the actor went with was just like, yeah,
well,
what do you know about truckers? I think they're all on speed.
Well,
so.
that's like the thing. That's an actual thing.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if the actor made that choice because when I'm watching it, all I kept thinking is like, man, he's talking real fast. He's really like erratic.
Pumped up.
Hey, you gotta have high energy driving a truck. That, you know what? I'm happy you brought up the truck driver scene though, because that brings me to a scene when I was talking about earlier, Cody. When I said this film left me wanting, the scene where Jesse and the other woman get carjacked.
Oh my God!
Don't
yeah,
even
Diamondback
see
and
how it gets played out, and it bugs the shit out of me. Like, I know how it plays out. Obviously, I know, but the scene ends so weird. He cranks the radio up like some shit's about to go down, and then just cuts away.
Yeah, dude, budget. It's called budget.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That's one thing I was bummed out about. I would have liked to see that.
I agree with that. I would like to see it too, but I do think that the way they played that was perfect. Just how like they think they've got us, but they don't even know what they're about to get. Like the Lance Henriksen and whoever played Diamondback, I forgot what her name, but they had great chemistry. I felt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeanette Goldstein.
Jeanette Goldstein.
Is who played
Jeanette Goldstein.
Diamondback.
Jeanette Goldstein.
They all have names like they're in Luke Cage. Diamondback, Razorback.
I do want to talk about
Razorback.
I don't know, Sidewinder.
I do want to talk about the technical aspects of this film too, because I think that's a very strong point where I think where the story kind of falls apart in some spots for me. The technical aspects, the lighting is amazing and very cool in this movie. Like the scene that really sticks out for me too in lighting, it might not be for some people, is the one where Caleb and May are in the middle of the road and like holding each other, and that truck is driving by them, and it's just the spotlight but the truck's in the background also, but it's a spotlight on them. It's just so cool looking to me.
Yeah, they did that. I feel like the lighting was very dynamic. Can I say that?
Yeah,
like contrast.
They like to use a lot of smoke also. The over the hill with the backlit, him riding the horse with the backlit.
I have a technical critique though. Holy fucking use of slow-mo.
Fuck yeah, when he's getting shot by that sniper.
Yeah, that and
that shit looks
the
like
50
a
other
Michael Bay
the
film.
50 other scenes where slow-mo was used, like just over too much slow-mo in this goddamn movie.
There's a lot of slow-mo going on.
I didn't feel that way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bud.
I think there was a point in the movie where I was like, all right, I'm starting to notice this, which means they're overusing it.
Yeah.
But
I didn't.
It didn't bug me that much.
Yeah, I didn't. I guess I'm not bugged by slow-mo.
No, you strike me as somebody who would not be bugged by slow-mo.
No, I like slow-mos and montages. You put about 4 scenes in each of those in a movie, I'm good.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know?
If there's a gunfight and there's slow-mo, happening,
What's
I think Cody's pleased.
Was that like jittery slow-mo look? You know that like music videos used to use all the time? It was like a strobe.
Oh, like where there's a delay in where the camera moves?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a filter for that. I remember playing around with it in
Instagram
like,
filter
in like Final Cut 4 or some shit, where you could like...
You know what? Guess what? Bill Paxton was also in Stripes.
Hey. What?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Who was he in Stripes? Was he one of the cadets or some shit?
Yeah, he's probably cadet number 3.
Yeah.
Another great thing in this movie that I thought was fantastic was special effects wise, like the makeup effects, the gore was awesome.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the gut. Oh man, did you feel that?
The blood looked red.
Oh my god,
movie.
I was so close. Sorry.
What?
Going back to Stripes.
Cadet
His character
4?
was soldier number 8.
Oh.
Anyhow, yes, special effects. I totally agree. That was the one that made me cringe the most. Actually, was the shotgun to the gut.
Shotgun to the gut and the spur to the neck. The spur to the neck.
I
was
liked
pretty
that
good.
one, but I thought the way they shot it seemed hokey.
No, you gotta listen. If you're gonna have Bill Paxton in a movie, you gotta get some kung fu kicks in.
No, I got it. Yeah, I agree with Kyle. It looked really like
they shot around the fact that they couldn't actually pull it off on screen. So it was like, hey, we'll shoot you just kicking your foot around, and then we'll cut back to this guy with razor blade slashes.
It also
in his
was
neck.
like what I thought was like a very weird, like over the top kill for the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was so weird. It was so like at a like.
But that fits. It fits the one character that's extremely over the top, though, too.
Does he kill other people like that?
No, that's the only one.
That's the only one you get.
Yep.
You only get one. You only get one.
And
one
it's
spur.
Like I
Much
said,
like the character erratic.
yeah, and it's the most. It's like the most over the top character, you know, in the film that does it like that. So it's not like it doesn't seem to me. It didn't seem unbelievable for that character to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think I loved the originalness of it because you tied in some kind of aspect of this character that we have heard, you know, throughout the screen. Anytime he's walking, you hear his spurs clicking along, but then they're able to. I just thought the way that it was shot was probably related to budgetary constraints or something, but it obviously looked like they shot around the fact that they couldn't pull off the effect correctly.
They definitely shot around it, but you know, it's good editing too. I don't think it looked that bad.
I think it was kind of a little bit anticlimactic, like when he finally did it, because I've seen it before, and when I knew it was coming, like I always remember it more grand in my head than what it actually is. It's like it kind of like the sound drops out and it gets like real quiet.
Yeah, you just hear ching.
It's just ching, 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 ching. I'm like, damn, it's just like it almost lost steam.
I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna be unpopular. The bar scene is my least favorite scene in this film.
Oh yeah,
I think it's so boring.
Really? I liked the.
It has a lot of like potential, but it drags so much between the kills and like they don't build enough tension. It's really
that's the thing,
weird.
though. I think you're wrong about that. And the thing I do like about the bar scene is the tension that's being built is for that one young kid who's playing pool. They ignore him the entire time. They fucking take out the entire bar. And as the audience, you're sitting there like, what the fuck's this other kid in the back doing? And you get like the occasional cut to him where he's basically shitting his pants because he doesn't know what to do. And I think that's where the tension
answer was jump through a glass window in slow-mo.
And slow-mo.
I also enjoy the purpose of that scene, which is basically to show Caleb that
he's super strong and he's
you
invincible.
Can't die. Yeah. And like we're gonna kill a bunch of people just to show you that you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like, what a weird. Yeah, there's plot holes in this film that like bother me. Like they're trying to keep a low profile, so let's murder a whole bar
and set it on fire.
And then like complain and say, Caleb, you let the cops on us. And it's like, you lit a fucking bar on fire.
Yeah, they were looking for you a long time ago.
They're combing that area with like the FBI.
Yeah,
and
but
shit.
now they know, but now no one knew what they looked like before because they didn't leave any witnesses. Now they know what they look like.
Yeah, but like it's not like this
you
took
know,
place in like in the 1800s or something like that. They have like forensics and shit. Like surely they could have.
Yeah, I did feel like they were leaving a large amount of evidence behind each of their kills.
And for some reason they weren't.
One would say a trail of destruction.
They weren't even. They weren't moving on. Like they were pretty much just staying in that town.
Yeah,
like
it's a small town. Like where else are they going to live?
Well, how many things can you burn down?
Well, the only bar in town's gone.
Well, it's not. It's not. I mean, they go from small town to small town. It's not the same place.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was one small town.
No.
It felt like one small town because why did Caleb get on a bus only to get off a bus at the place that he started? Didn't make any goddamn sense at all.
Okay, so what I kind of picked up on this, and I don't know if it is because of her dialogue, basically saying like you're gonna be back, basically. So what I thought it was you have because in like vampire lore, when someone turns you, you have a connection with them. So I figured as the distance went from that connection that he had with May, because she's just the one who turned him, the sicker he also got. Is what I kind of got. So he couldn't even make it out of town because
he did that all in one night, huh?
You know.
I mean, it must be a few days, or I don't know. It's hard to tell what the timeline is of this.
Yeah, the timeline is really. But I'm speaking specifically of that one night. It's nighttime. They go out in the town. He makes his way to a bus station. He finally gets a pass on the bus. He's on the bus. It's going for a while, I would assume. And then he gets off the bus, and he's back there. And it's still nighttime and enough time for them to go gallivanting around after he drank her blood. Like, the timeline is... I feel like night is way fucking longer than day in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's called Near Dark.
Oh, and on that note...
I also enjoyed the cinematography a lot. I thought there's some really like just cool stuff as far as like with the lighting and stuff like that, and just the way you would have to shoot it and not look murky as far as like being covered in smoke, because a lot of that has to do with like the rays of light is going to be like you have to capture that on film somehow, so you're going to have some sort of like dust or smoke. And then like to not make it look murky, also make it look pretty clear is I thought was pretty damn impressive. Impressive. So let's say we rate this Mammer Jammer, shall we?
Cody, what are you gonna rate it?
I think we should rate it Spurs.
I was thinking that as well.
Spurs.
Spurs.
Let's start with Chris.
Yeah, of course. Okay. All right, Near Dark. I like this movie. I don't love this movie. It's kind of slow, a little draggy for me in a lot of parts, but the parts that it really kicks ass in are totally worth the watch. Bill Paxton is kind of, I feel like, makes this movie. You know, Lance Henriksen probably gets the back seat to him, but still just as awesome. Everybody else does a great job. I always loved seeing like a little kid. When I was a kid, seeing a little kid play a bad guy, like a vampire who like smoked and like had guns. So like I think that aspect of it is cool. Homer's character. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of middle of the road on it. Like, I don't think it's amazing, but I definitely don't dislike it. So I'm going to have to sit at probably a 3. Definitely not right down the middle, because the effects are great and some of the dialogue is awesome and very well written. So I'm going to go 3.
3 from Chris. Mike?
This film, for me, it's probably, I'm going to go with like a 2.5. It was kind of a snore. It really is. And like, you know, I'd probably catch some flack for this. I'm not a big fan of Catherine Bigelow's like early films. Like, I'm not a big fan of Point Break.
But that's a weird movie to bring up.
Well, I mean, it's probably before it was like Hurt Locker and stuff like that. That was her like big film. I mean, for the most part, as far as I know, you know, Point Break. You know, like, well, anyways, regardless, like a lot of her earlier films I didn't really like. I love her. I love Hurt Locker. It's a fantastic film. I thought Zero Dark 30 was pretty solid too. I like that she kind of as a director, she kind of like reinvented herself from out of like this weird like schlocky action like background to like these like deep dark, you know, these deep like what am I trying to say? Like dramas, essentially. Kind of like action dramas, really, if you think about it. Anyways, that's just talking about the director. As far as the film is concerned, I mean, you know, like there's some great performances to be sure, but like I just don't think the plot really is really solid. It's not very engaging. Kind of bounces around a bit. Again, like the connection, the guy and the girl, like there's no core reason for me to be. I don't feel connected to the main actor at all, or the Caleb at all. Like his character is kind of like just like I don't really care, you know. Like he seems like a spectator, and that's never good in the main character. You know, if he's just like somebody that I follow just so we can watch, you know, Bill Paxton do some pretty crazy shit. It's essentially how I felt like that was, and I just didn't really enjoy it that much. Yeah, I would give it like 2.5. Really, just nah.
Kyle?
I'm gonna go probably 3.5 on this one. I do enjoy this movie. I agree with you guys. There's definitely some slow parts in it for sure. But what I love about the film and what I love what the director did with it was the tone of the film that she was able to create. The blending of a Western with a classic horror film, I thought was done really well. The slow parts in it, I think that's probably what makes it easier for me to be forgiving of them, because I mean, you guys watch the spaghetti westerns, you'll probably take 3 watches to get through some of them. There's some like slow parts mixed with scenes of awesome action, and that's what this movie definitely had. I love Bill Paxton in it. I love the fact that he plays a bad guy in this movie. I think he's fantastic as a bad guy. And I just think it's overall really entertaining. So 3.5 for me.
All right. And I will say that I agree with Kyle on a lot of this. There are some slow points, but I think that the shots of adrenaline you get from the characters brings it up when it needs to. I think they hit it right at the right time, so you're never bored. I do agree that with you though, Mike, on the main character where he does feel like a spectator, and that's never good for a main character. But thank God for the other characters that are around him, because like I said, otherwise this movie would suck. The performances you get from Lance Henderson, Bill Paxton, just pretty much everybody that's in the ensemble cast is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone is fun to watch too. Like that for me is fun to watch too. Story wise, yeah, there's things that especially about the young love that are left to be desired. You know, and explaining that young love and what the actual attraction is. I still don't know what he sees in this chick. I'm still trying to figure that out. You know,
no one can explain.
No one can.
Love,
yeah,
Cody.
no one.
He's
That's
got
true.
that hot Wilson Phillips vibe. You know?
But I'm right.
The Bijou, who was that? Can't remember which one. But,
I'm right there with Kyle at a 3.5. 3.5 Spurs on this film. There's some things that could have been done better to make it a 4 or a 5, but you know that's not what we got. I think it's a solid entry into the vampire movies. This is probably one of the better ones because it's not the fucking bullshit fluff that she tries to ground it somewhat based in reality, which I really enjoy and I think is important with vampire films. It kind of makes it scarier. So yeah, 3.5 for me. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. Make sure you follow us on social media at cultfilm_review on Twitter and Instagram. You can also follow us on Facebook. We have a website, cultfilmreview.com. You can find all of our episodes on there. Also, you can follow Kyle.
You can follow me on Instagram at cultfilm_Kyle.
You can follow Chris.
Cultfilm_Chris on Instagram.
You can follow Mike.
At Mike Salustio on Twitter.
And you can follow me at VHS Collect on Instagram. That's our show for this week, guys. Remember, if you're going to join a cult, make sure they watch good movies. See you next week.